Thank you very much, Don, and good morning, everybody. At this early hour, it is so good to be here with you and with Citizens for Global Solutions. I've enjoyed being with you on an earlier occasion, and I'm happy to see here some friends from other places, from the United Nations Association and from my travels across the country, as I did what I could to engage this debate about America and the world, or the U.S. and the UN. And that's been a fascinating journey for me. I've had some recent occasions to hear the new administration representatives speaking. And the phrase I liked best came the other day at a meeting with State Department people, where Samantha Power referred to the new era of engagement. I like that, because if we are indeed at the point of a new era of engagement, I call that a turning point, a defining point for us, and a moment that we should absolutely seize and make the most of. So I welcome this opportunity to talk with you about this new era of engagement. We know, of course, that there are many ways of addressing it, some through our own government agencies, some through citizens' actions, but I will speak to you particularly from my perspective, from the United Nations perspective, which has been my own particular experience, and talk a little in some honest ways, some frank ways, if I may, about how we got to the point of where we are and what we can do now that we have a new opening to really turn this corner. This question is not academic, but as you know, because of my work, it comes right to the heart of my deepest concerns. Most of you know a lot about the UN, and I don't need to go into explanations about its history or its reason for being. That's familiar to you. But what I have tried to convey as I traveled across the country is that there is no other. There is no other possibility. There is only one UN. It is what we have. And imperfect as it is still a unique and valuable instrument. And it is up to us to make it as effective as we possibly can. It is clear that the UN is important to us, but it's also clear that the US is important to the UN. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that when the United States is fully, visibly, actively engaged, the chances of success in the UN on every front are always greater. The US, because we are such a power, because we are so visible, needs to do better and to do more. We are no doubt the superpower, and yet time and again we have somehow, for some various reasons, been absent. As Don mentioned, it's my conviction that a strong UN actually makes us safer. It serves not only the global interest, but our national interest. And it achieves through collective action things which we could never do alone. And it is a bargain at the price. It gives us the opportunity every day to build alliances and partnerships, to put a human face on the other, to leverage our influence, and to use the UN's favorite term, to share the burden. Burden sharing, sharing the risk, the cost, the responsibility, and we trust the benefits of joint action. Simply put, we can do more together than we can do alone. And in this age of globalization, we are connected in every way, whether we wish it or not. We have everything to gain by making the most of our UN presence, and nothing to lose. Well, the new administration understands this very well. Obama has spoken about the importance of diplomacy, about the value of the United Nations. I'm hoping and expecting that sometime in the course of this spring he will be making an important foreign policy speech. He won't wait till September to do that. He'll be speaking about the world at large, with particular reference to the United Nations and its importance to Americans. He has specifically said that he supports the Millennium Development Goals. His quote is, "When I become president, the Millennium Development Goals will be America's goals." And that's very important to hear. And his swift action, as Eric Schwartz said last night, in condemning torture, in expressing respect for international law, in closing Guantanamo, sends a clear message that on the issue of human rights, that the United States is moving again to keep the high standard which we held for so very long. He understands also that the UN is a place where the US can inspire and lead. But he knows, as we do, surely, if we're honest, that our capacity to lead has been greatly diminished. And I want to take a moment just to do a quick retrospective to remind ourselves how we got into this hole. And then I want to pick up where Eric left off last evening and suggest some very specific steps we can take, and soon, to re-engage and to let the world know that America is back. You all know that for a host of reasons there exists between US and the UN, or in the larger sense, America and the world, a breach, a distance that is not helpful or necessary. That comes about for a number of reasons, and it's not just a perception, it's based in reality. And some of that is because over these years, our words and our deeds often differed. That is to say, there was a distance between what we said and what we did, or between our principles and our practice. And the most obvious example, of course, is on the human rights issue. We promoted the high standard of human rights, and yet we acted in a very different way, most particularly in allowing agents or soldiers of America to torture. A second was the sense that the US was absolutely ambivalent about the UN. Did we want it to succeed, or did we not? Were we there, or were we not? It seemed as if it was a love-hate relationship, and that we were somehow unreliable as a partner, and that our commitment to the US was mainly a matter of convenience, that is to say, self-serving when it worked, and to be dismissed if it didn't seem useful. The chorus of attacks, the unrelenting drumbeat of UN bashing, led by Rush Limbaugh and company, was really damaging. Most of us turn those stations off. We like to pretend it doesn't matter. But millions of Americans listen to that. And our foreign counterparts, our foreign friends, hear it also and shake their heads to see why is there such unthinking attacks against the only international institution that we have. Now, some of those criticisms may have merit and deserve a response, but some of it became a reflex of UN bashing that was really unhelpful and often unfair. They also promoted the idea across this country that a critic was an enemy. Not so. Or that a vote differing from a United States vote was necessarily a vote against the United States. Not so. Each country has national interests, we understand that. There will be differences of view, differences of votes. It doesn't mean they are our enemies, or maybe not even our adversaries. That immediate categorization of you're with us or against us is unhelpful also.